So yes, I am Pascal Gandillon, head of observability at Nexthink, and today I'm going to talk how we improve our incident management thanks to the developer portal, but not only thanks to a lot of features of Datadog. So let's get into it. It was not long ago we began our cloud journey because we were an on-premise company before, and we decided to move full cloud few years ago. And then we started the hard way to learn how to operate the software in the cloud. So we had many tools, we have little cohesion. Everyone was using something different. The things were not always well connected. The tools were scattered, the knowledge was spread, and the competence was a little bit divided at this time. Also, the knowledge was trapped in silos. So we had docs in a docs. We had sometimes the doc inside a folder. Sometimes it was just a notion in someone's head. So as you see, it was a bit complicated to track the knowledge. So we had broken communications also with clumsy hands-off, misunderstandings, and yeah, we had messy or missing process when we started. So that was the beginning. So I will introduce you who we are, Nexthink, because maybe not all of you have heard about Nexthink. So our mission is to delight people at work. So we are a software company. We are focused on helping IT to shape smart and productive workplaces. It means that we bring clarity to the IT department through a unique combination of real-time analytics, automation, and employees' feedback. In fact, we are, like Datadog, an observability company. But the difference is that we are focused on user endpoint. So we are specialized on observability on user endpoints. And we were pioneer in the observability, and today we are the world leader in DEX. DEX is the user endpoint observability, the marketing terminology. But for people at Datadog, I like to talk about user endpoint observability because maybe it might be a bit more meaningful for technical people in IT. So in DEX, we are the world leader in DEX. We have 20 million endpoints managed, 1,200 customers, and in those customers, we have 300 customers in the Fortune 2000, means that we are operating very large organizations. We invest a lot in R&D, and we are distributed over 40 countries. We have 11 production cells spread across the world, totally worldwide, and we plan even to have 13 cells, I mean, in September, because we are opening Japan and we're opening also FedRAMP. So we keep growing a lot. And we are this dot that you see above, isolated above and right in the Gartner Magic Quadrant for DEX. So we are far beyond we are far in front of our competitors, and we are very proud of that for several years in a row in the Gartner Magic Quadrant. So we are leading also all the Experience 24, which is sort of the dashcon of the DEX. And we have the most active online community for the DEX leaders. So we have 90% today of our endpoints that are managed in the cloud. So guys, you can imagine when we were full on-premise in 2019, you can imagine how fast we migrate everything to the cloud. And last year, we had 31% year-on-year active cloud endpoints growth. This means fantastic growth. So before we adopted Datadog, we had our way to manage incidents. And you know, when you're on-premise, you don't have incidents. You just build your software, ship it, you do your regression campaign, you try to catch as many bugs as you can, you deliver your software, and then you wait for the customers to raise bugs, and that's it. That's the way you operate. But when you operate in the cloud, it's completely different because each bug can be more or less an incident, and also you have all operational issues that can be an incident. So we discovered somehow in the enterprise culture the incidents when we started to operate in the cloud. So it was the beginning. At the beginning, it was just a customer that was calling our support, discovering the issue, and then putting a lot of pressure on the team, obviously. There was a lot of stress on every incident because we knew that we had a problem and that customers were impacted, so we had to solve it as soon as possible, and we didn't have the proper tooling at this time, so there was a lot of stress. And support were creating something that we call the war room. I think some of you may know it also. So it was a chat channel, or it could be also a conference call. And support were adding SREs, engineers, infrastructure engineers, developers, leadership, one by one in the room, trying to solve the issue. And there was a mental overload. The developers were juggling with multiple alerts, dashboards, chat pings. And people were scrambling for answers. People were trying to piece things together to understand what's going on, often in parallel, and sometimes two teams in parallel searching the same thing. It was very, very difficult at this time. Also, we had a lot of noise and miscommunication, many people in the room, so assumptions were flying, sometimes leading the team in the wrong direction. And we had a lack of clarity. So no single source of truth. We had just noise and confusion. At the end, we had physical fatigue and mental fatigue also, and it was more difficult to make the right decision. Hopefully, we had also at this time what I call the static document era. So it didn't work well. Because it was outdated almost instantly. When you have a static document that you need to go, each time you do a modification to your system, you have to go and you have to do the change. Nobody does it. It's very hard to get people doing it. So it's almost instantly outdated. It's a pain to maintain. So it was really accurate. And it was our single source of ownership. So after all, it was the only way we had to track who owns what and which component belongs to who. It was the only way. So it was slow and frustrating, and it could take hours to us to figure out who to ping and how to start troubleshooting. We also had a separate tool for paging at this time, which was a disconnected system. It was not working neither. So it was a tool that was in the mind of people. It was an operational tool. They did not want the developers, they were seeing it as something for operations, and they did not know what to onboard. So we had a low developer's trust, and people were fearing to be randomly paged. They were fearing the noisy alerts, the false positives, and it was very difficult. The leadership was putting pressure on the team, on the development team. Hey, you have to be on call now. You have to. But people were really dragging their feet. It was very difficult to get people adopting this tool, and so adoption lagged. Because when the developers don't trust the signal, they ignore the tool. And you can't drive ownership if people feel like they will be trapped. So at the end of this incident, in the old days, we had the hero who were showing up. And it was one engineer with deep knowledge who swoops in. Finally, we could find someone who was able to fix. Always. So it was often a manual fix in production. And it happened even that sometimes we had a release and we rolled back the fix. So we reintroduced the bug with the release. It was a tough time at this time. But we got lucky because All the developers were very committed. There is a lot of engagement in our company, and we have a lot of, engagement and talented people. So we succeed to overcome this period, but it was very risky to manage incidents this way. So also after the incident, we rarely learn from incidents. Why? Because information was scattered everywhere. We had logs, dashboards, chat threads in different silos. And we had hundreds of chat messages. So this war room, chat room was huge. And thousands of chat messages. And it was awfully painful to scroll in the room and to find the right information, to put it in a static document that we had at this time. We had a static template to fill. But to gather the information, it was really difficult, really painful. So, hundreds of chat messages, and we had no feedback loop. Because when you don't have postmortems, it's pure waste, the incident. You don't learn, you don't grow, you don't scale, and you just repeat time after time, so it's terrible. So it's so important to have the proper process around incident, to have the proper post-mortem, RCA, and to be able to gather the information from the incident. So we had to improve, definitely, and we held things together. The teams did their best. We had a lot of teams commitment, as I said already. We had heroes, because you had really people who swooped in the middle of the night, during the weekends. And it's, on one side, it's very good because people are engaged and all, but we don't want to live like that. It's a survival mode, right? We were lucky because incidents did not spiral, but it was very close from comfort. And long term is not a way to work. I think you agree with me. It became urgent to improve how we work, and we couldn't stay in this survival mode forever. We had to change something and to learn how to scale and learn and grow. So now, after we started to use Datadog a few years ago, more or less in the middle of our cloud journey, and it changed a lot of things, I must say, because it's the same tool for everyone. Operations, SREs, developers, support, everyone uses the same interface. So you have the same UI, the same concepts, the same patterns, so you just share the links, and the cognitive load dropped significantly. There is no more tool hopping. People are not wondering where should I go for that or here, because you are on the same platform. And it's deeply a DevOps alignment by design, because somehow having the same tool, you just break this wall that you could have between the teams, especially between operationalization and development. Because since everyone is on the same tool, the developers, they take more responsibility on the operationalization, and they take ownership of the operationalization of their components, and it's changed a lot of things. Also, it's a frictionless path to resolution, because when you have a familiar workflow, you have faster debugging and faster resolution. So the developer portal also helped a lot, because it's a central dynamic view of the system. It replaced the static docs that I mentioned before. So now, it's not comparable. You have something that is constantly up to date, dynamic, no effort to maintain. It's just the information of your application directly. So you have immediate access to the dependencies. So it makes debugging and analysis much faster, because you just see a problem, you click on it, you see the owner, you see who's on call. That's absolutely immediate. And it helps tremendously to track the issues, to have everything in one place. And yes, it reduces, sorry, I was a bit fast. It reduces confusions, speeds up collaboration, and now we are not anymore chasing people or informations because everything is in the same place. Also the on-call, we were early adopter of the on-call before it went GA. And we are very, very happy with this feature. It was a game changer for us because it's inside the observability platform and it's changing everything. It's not a new tool. It's not a separate tool that people have to go and learn and that is associated in the mind of people to operationalization. No, it's inside. It's in the development, in the observability platform. It's just beside, and then people just start to use it. They could try it safely. They could try it during their working hours. No fear of being paged during the weekend or at night at the beginning because they just set their on-call periods during the day, during the working day, and they can just use it. And they started to use it without push because it was there. So we had incredible adoption of the tool. And also it gives a greater sense of control because you don't feel that you're thrown into the fire, but you gradually own the reliability of your application. And you see the benefit also of being on call because, in fact, when you don't have on-call tool and when nobody's on call, everyone is on call. So it's worse than everything because it means that everyone can be pinged randomly, can be contacted, hey, we have an incident, a problem, it's terrible. So it's a huge progress to be on call when you manage it properly. So it was a huge change and people really adopted it very easily. Now, of course, we have some debates about being on call during the weekends at night. Still, it's not totally perfect, but at least the tool helped us to adopt an on-call strategy for our company. So it was a frictionless adoption, same UI, same workflow, and faster onboarding. And at the end of the day, it's a mindset shift because we come to a mentality where we say, no, it's not my job. Now I've done my piece and I delivered it to the operations, and now I don't care. It's no more my job. Now people understand the need. And even being on call, they understand the need of having a stable and reliable application. So we moved from the mindset of being it's their job to now it's our job. And it changed a lot the operationalization of our product. Also regarding the post-mortem, same. I mean, engineers, they discovered the features in Datadog. We did not have to push to run after people to make huge communication across the company. No, the people, they just saw that there was the post-mortem inside the platform and they started to use it. We did not need training or anything because it's so easy, so simple, and so natural. And it's also automatically feed. So you have the timeline. It's filled automatically, so no work. You just need to go across the points that are spread in the timeline, and you need to pick up some points that you want to adjust, some edits, and that's it. And then you have your post-mortem, so it's a huge difference when compared to what we had before with the static template that we had to fill and gather every information from everywhere. So now it's automatic, it's consistent, and again, the timeline pre-filled is a huge saver. So now every incident is documented. That's the big difference. Because, I mean, when you are able to build a post-mortem RCA on every incident, you grow the knowledge base, you have smarter response, better outcomes, and you learn from your incidents. And that's a big difference. Instead of repeating over and over the same things and the same patterns, you learn and you improve. So that's super, super important. Also, I don't have precise data, so I could not show a graph really precise because we did not have data before. But for sure, we improved dramatically our MTTR, mean time to resolution, and the severity is down also. So it's an undeniable cultural shift. And we have faster recovery, less panic, smoother revolution, more clarity, and teams feel this difference every day. And everybody in my company agrees that it was a huge change. So teams feel the difference every day. Also, the internal developer portal, it's the software catalog. I mean, now I think every one of you know what it is in this room, but it's the way you can track every information on every service in a portal. And it's the value for me of the IDP is not just the feature of the IDP. The true efficiency is not just because you add features and you just stack features one between the other. It's when you have all the features in the same place, it's not an addition, it's a multiplication of its efficiency because you have the same concepts across all these different features and you have the same path, the same platform, the same UI. So in terms of, again, cognitive load, it's much simpler. Everyone speaks the same language. So it's about how those features are working together like gears in motion. And yeah, when observability, incident response, and platform tooling align with teams operation, you have the productivity accelerates, the noise reduces, and the reliability improves dramatically. So it's not just integration, it's compound value. It's really the value of all together that is an extreme booster. So what's next now? Because we are still working and we are still improving. We have not reached the perfect state again of a cloud company, and we are still working hard to improve. So we still plan to reduce more our MTTR and especially to have a lower impact. So incidents mean lower impact for our customers. So we try to catch issue before customers are impacted. We have a proactive detection now, and we stay ahead of the curve. And also, we are learning, also ramping up on the other features that are coming constantly. I don't know if you were on the keynote, but it's hard sometimes to keep because they are delivering so much new things that we have to catch up. And especially DORA metrics, notebooks, case management, SLOs. We need to, we are working on having a better usage of all those features. But last but not least, stronger guardrails mean we are working also to automate in our CI/CD the file, because with the developer portal you have a file inside the code repository of each service, and this file has to be absolutely maintained, otherwise you lose a lot of value with the developer portal. So we are working on gates that will help us to keep this file constantly up to date and make sure that we never have outdated information in this file. This is very important for us. So it helps us to boost the our cloud maturity, because now we can put more effort on real cloud work. So now we have a much faster and decoupled delivery. We can also focus on tests, contracts, and gates. We enhanced our DevOps practice with streamlined workflow and much better collaboration. And also we are working on improving the scalability and the elasticity of our stack, because as an on-prem company at the beginning, we shift all our software to the cloud, but now we need to have a much more scalable architecture, much more elastic, much more cloud compatible architecture. So the next steps, I encourage you really to explore the service management tab in Datadog. You will see the internal developer portal, SLOs, incident management also, on-call, event management, all those things that I mentioned in this call. So really strongly encourage you to visit this tab, but not only, all those features that are working together. And before we go, I would just wanted to say that incidents will never go away. And the goal at the end, we could think, oh, we want 0 incidents, but it's not, it will never happen. Because you have, especially in the cloud, you have constant change, and this is what you want. You want to keep your system constantly updated, and to have the change flowing to your application constantly, so you will have always incident. But what is very important is to change the nature of the incident. So moving from something that is a drama, that is involving all the company with a lot of stress and a lot of panic, to something much more mature with a process, and also to shift left your incident. So you move from a big customer impact with a lot of problems to something where I mean, now we have incidents. Most of our incidents, they don't have customer impact at all. So it's because we shift left. We have incidents now. Even last week we had a big incident. It was only on dev environments. 2 years ago it was inconceivable to have an incident just for dev environments. So we changed really the nature of the incident. And it's very important to learn about your incidents, because you learn about your weak points of your socio-technical system. So the weak points of your application in the cloud, but also the weak points of your organization. So it's a source of learning. It's a huge source of learning. It's a critical part of the continuous improvement. That's why it's not a matter of getting rid of incidents. It's a matter of mutating the incidents of a source of learning and a source of improvements. So thank you for having listening to me. And I don't know if you have questions. I'm keen to answer.
If anyone has questions, please make your way to the microphone in the center aisle.
Hi. How long did you take to reach the point where you are? And what do you recommend to somebody that wants to start from scratch?
That's a very good question. So as I said, we started our cloud journey in 2019, so 6 years. All this story fits in six years, right? And we adopted Datadog a bit less than 2 years ago. But it was not an overnight change. For example, on call, we discovered it a few months ago only. So, and it was a major improvement again. So feature by features, and along the improvements of Datadog, we started to implement those features. So it's not a flip, a one-night flip. It's continuous progress, but it's been accelerating since we started to work with Datadog. So we've been sort of, for maybe 3 years, sort of stuck for some things, not for all. We were making also huge progress on other part of our software. But regarding especially incident management, we were sort of stuck for, let's say, 2-3 years before we started to really improve, and it was really with the help of Datadog.
So I think that 2 to 3 years of being stuck may segue into my question.
Okay.
You mentioned one of the improvements you did was to start having postmortems.
Yes.
You're actually taking the time to learn from incidents.
Exactly.
That itself is another investment of everybody's time to get together, look at the RCA, and then talk about it and try to get to not necessarily the root cause, but all the contributing factors and learning about it, which is great, but then you've got all these follow-ups that is more work to burn down technical debt.
Exactly, but it is exactly why when you have automated postmortems, and it's much less work. So the return on investment on the postmortem is huge compared to the effort that you have to do when you don't have a tool that not only gather all the information in a centralized point and is able also to process this information to spawn a post-mortem that is very valuable from scratch, almost. So yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And then just to the point I was getting to there also, have you found any patterns between your postmortems where you're finding, oh, there's actually multiple incidents that all have sort of the same shape?
Absolutely, absolutely, of course. We have a lot of learnings on our postmortems, and we are able to categorize them. And absolutely, it helps a lot. It's a huge help for building the reliability of our platform.
I wanted to ask about, you mentioned previously about how you would have incidents, you would have lots of people in them. With that, you often get like lots of assumptions and opinions. I assume with the incident management, you can narrow that down with sort of who owns what. But for incidents where there still might be a lot of voices, what's a good way that you sort of see managing those different opinions and like the different assumptions that come up when you just have a high number of people that have to be responding to an incident just because of the scope of it?
That's a very good question. Thank you. Yes, it's a big difference because now we have a completely different way. So first of all, we don't automatically create a conference call. Because we have the incidents in Datadog. So people that just go, they see the status, they see everything, they see if they have relevant information, they can go and add something, a comment or something. And sometimes we have calls, but it's like 15-minute calls between three people. It's nothing to see, like 2-hour calls with the leadership, the CTO, everybody's scared. It's completely different. So, well, what's going on? No, now we have still calls, but it's very effective calls. We have the right people at the right moment, and we just to unlock some points, sometimes because it goes faster sometimes than to have a quick call than a chat. But it's quick, it's just, a few minutes, and then we handle everything through the incident management interface, and it's extremely powerful.
And then just this follow-up question to that is do you have any experience with sort of, you can have like concurrent incidents that have different crossover, or like if there is, or even like sometimes where there's you have an issue and it might be across some different teams, or there might like handling the communication where they sort of might have started at separate points and making sure that they like converge where they need to, if that makes sense.
So what could happen to us at least is one incident that is impacting several work streams, completely different sometimes. And again, the fact of having the central point of the incidents, it helps a lot also to spot the problem and to spread the information. Because when you have this war room, even if you have a lot of people, you don't have everyone, and the people that are not in the room, they are not aware of what's going on. So they could discover at this time that there was an incident, and they think, oh no, I'm not impacted because this is database and I'm front, let's say. And I don't take a look at it. I don't go in the call because I'm not impacted. And in fact, they see that they have a problem, and in fact they are impacted. But it was taking a lot of time to realize that they were impacted by an ongoing incident. So now, when you have a portal, when it's centralized and you see immediately open the incidents, of course you just take a look and you just see, you have the status immediately. It's not like a room where information is flying and not persisted everywhere, so anywhere. So yeah, absolutely, it's a huge help also.
Yeah, awesome, thank you.
Thank you.
Hi there. First off, thank you. So my question is in the context of shifting the culture. Okay, so ours is a culture where our CTO is fully bought in on the merits of observability and the uses of Datadog. He's the one with the check for me and my colleague to be here. Engineering team as well, conceptually, like, yeah, that's a great idea. But our current challenge is our current incident management is in Jira. And obviously we're aware of the incident management capabilities within Datadog. What we have working for us, we have buy-in from the top, we have conceptual agreement at the engineering level, but we're in the and we're also a culture wherein we don't rain down any policies to anybody. We're very much a buy-in building culture, if you will. And so given that kind of landscape, when you were earlier, you were just saying, yeah, we got fortunate, a lot of our team were just like, it sounded like your team was like, yeah, we're already bought in, no need to convince us. And so my question is, did you run into any friction with regard to making use of like incident management within Datadog and like driving that cultural shift? And if you did, what were some strategies that you used organizationally to overcome that adoption friction?
No, in fact, the power of the tool is a driver. So everyone saw that the fact of having incidents centrally managed this way, it's so much more efficient that we did not have any friction to switch because, I mean, the efficiency is so obvious that we did not need to push. It's like for the other features that I mentioned, like the portal, like the on-call, people switch to it very easily because it's so efficient. And it's now the hierarchical process of the incidents is different because now you have an incident commander who's driving the incidents. Of course, he keeps aware the VP or the people above in the hierarchy, but people trust the way that the incident will be managed. Before, the CTO was jumping in the call, and the CTO or the VPs or whoever, because they were scared. And so they did not really trust what's going on, so they feel like they had to jump in to control the situation. But now they know that everything is more or less in control, so they will jump in only in case, but it's very rare in case, in fact. And in fact, what happens more is that we have a weekly meeting with the CTO, and then we review the incidents. But they are already at least whether closed or at least mitigated when we review them. And sometimes there are 1 or 2 incidents opened, but we just review it in a weekly fashion with the leadership. But there are no more need. They don't feel the need to jump in and to put pressure on the people. So it's a big change.
And then one last follow-up question: would you characterize your adoption from like the top down, so like the CTO and VP level? Did it start there and then it kind of trickled down, or was it the other way, or was it everyone at the same time?
So at the beginning, it was top-down totally.
Okay.
Not totally, because the support was creating the incident, but then the leadership was aware, and then they jumped in and put a lot of pressure. That was the way. But now it's much more organic and much more well organized also. So the leadership has no more distress. So they trust the people. So it's been building trust across the company, so they don't need to control the things.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, one last round of applause for Pascal.
Thank you.